Good afternoon and welcome to the Central Florida Computer Society and the Sarasota Technology User Group, Windows Special Interest Group, also known as WinSIG, for Sunday, December 10th, 2023. I'm your host, Hewie Poplock. We're glad you're here. We've got a good audience today, and of course, this is recorded as well. And I'll stop the share here. And I want to say welcome, and I'm glad you made it. This is a very busy season for a lot of us with all the events and activities going on. So we're glad you took the time today to join us. We meet once a month. The webpage for the Windows Special Interest Group is, let me go out and share my screen again. And I had it open and it's still open. There we go. Full screen. This is the website, and I do have items that I post sometimes as much as a week in advance, sometimes a day in advance. I added 4 more this morning that I put at the top of the list. So if you've looked at the list, I've added a few other items. I don't know how far down the list we'll get today because some of them are fairly lengthy, but there were some ones that, there's each of these are links so that you can go out and look at them if we don't get to them, or if there's something in one of the articles that you want to go back and visit. All you have to go to is hewie.net/WinSIG, and you'll get to the list of the items that we're going to cover. And so, needless to say, let's get started. And let's see, that's news. So I think it's this one. Yes. And I'm going to be showing a video tomorrow on Tech for Senior on some of the new things that are going on with what might be Windows 12, but the Windows for 2024. Let me go ahead and do the immersive reader. The Windows 12 is apparently launching in June of 2024. Some of the things I've seen might be a little bit earlier, that you'll see some of the items for it. It may not be called Windows 12. It might be 11 point something, and it might be Windows 2024. Who knows? They haven't decided, so we don't know. But there's going to be a lot of new things in Windows coming in 2024, a lot of it based on AI. Let's see what this article has to say. According to the report, 2024 is shaping up to be the first year of the AI PCs with dedicated hardware built for generative AI. So you're going to start seeing computers themselves that will have AI built into them. So if you're thinking of, you've got Windows 10, your computer won't handle Windows 11, you might want to wait a little bit till some of these newer computers come out that will have special chips in them to handle AI, and then update. So this means that Microsoft is positioning Windows 12 as the first version of the operating system built for the age of AI. So it'll be interesting to see what it brings to the table compared to Windows 11. This publication doesn't say where it got the June 24th launch info. So, it's rumors. So we don't know. But the article does feature quotes from Acer's CEO, Jason Chen, and Quanta's Barry Lam from the recent Taiwan Medical Technology Exhibition. With recent boom in generative AI and the burgeoning technology across various sectors, companies are going all in on the combination of AI PCs and AI servers working in unison. With Windows 12 at the heart of AI PCs, this isn't the first time we've heard about potential 2024 launch. However, June would be much sooner than previous rumors and reports indicating a late 2024 launch, but it may be in stages as well. So it's coming. and there's going to be some bigger changes because the world is changing because of AI. So that's an interesting article that I found. This has turned my blocker off. So let's see. Do I have my blocker on here? I don't even know if I got one on this one. Here. I don't even have ad blocker on here. I think it's built in. So I guess I'm going to have to skip that. How to restart a Windows 11 PC. Let's see if there's a way around this.
You can temporarily copy that link into another browser.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I may have the same problem with it though too, but let's try it. So let's go ahead and open Brave. I've had better luck with Brave with some of these than others, but not always.
This particular website, How to Geek, is pretty nasty about ad blockers.
Yeah. Okay. Looks like we're okay. All right. Let me make this bigger. Use the power button in the start menu is one way in which you can restart your Windows. You can right click on the start menu and where it says shut down or sign out, hit the restart. Now the restart is your true reboot, cold reboot. If you turn off your computer and turn it back on, believe it or not, that's not a hard reboot. You have to do the restart. And you can press Alt F4 to restart Windows 11. And then you can use the command line restart, shut down or restart. And I'm going to show you something that I do in just a moment. And I think I'm going to do a video on it. Update and restart the Windows Update. And you can restart there. And Control Alt Delete or the login screen is another way. But there's yet another. And let me go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and close this because that takes care of that article. But I'm going to minimize this for a moment. You'll notice right here, I have a shutdown button and a restart button on my desktop. I'm going to open up the, let's see. Come on.
Right click and properties, and you'll have the.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, and I'm not sure what happened. There we go. And then properties is here. And this is what I have as my target. I will copy this and then open up a new, and then take this and bring it over.
Videos out on how to set up these shortcuts on your desktop.
Yeah. This is the one that I have for the restart, and that's what the R is for restart, does the shutdown. And the timing is 0, so it'll do it right away. And I can even make this bigger so you can write it down. Paste font I want. It changed how this works now. There we go. There we go. So that's what I have for this one. And for the actual shutdown, let me close this. For the actual shutdown, yeah, looks like oh yeah, here it is. Okay. This has an S for shutdown. This is the R for restart, S for shutdown. And again, the time is 0. And so it'll do it right away. And to create a new shortcut on your desktop, all you have to do is find a blank spot on your desktop, right mouse click, and you'll see new, and then go to shortcut. It will then open this and then just paste, type type in one of these commands in there, and that's the location of the item. So let's just take the one here. I got to remember not to push it or bye-bye Hewie. But you do this, and you can browse to it if you know where you're going, but this is the best way to do it. And then you go to next, you give it a name, and we'll say, just so I can temp shutdown, because I already have a shutdown, and I'll say finish. And it's right here. Now I right mouse click again on it. This sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, but I go to properties. And then I want to go to change icon. And it doesn't see it. So you have to go where the icons are. There it is. So then you can pick up whatever icon you want for it. This is the on off button. So that's the one I use for shutdown. And then you can find whatever, I use the keys, whatever icon you want. That's what you put down for the restart. And then you can do it from there. It's a real handy way to have it on your screen. I'll close that. And
Put a link in the chat for a video on how to set this up.
Appreciate that. Good. Now I don't have to do one. Thank you.
Is a dash as good as a slash?
Can you say that again, please?
Is a dash as same as a slash?
I believe so. Let's see. I am here. Okay, so that one didn't work, but we used it, another one. And there's another one. Okay, but this one is, these people are nice. It says continue without disabling. Okay, so this article is, let's go ahead and do this is one I added in the last day or so. November Windows 11 Patch Tuesday update brings some new features for the Start menu, File Explorer, and more. Windows 11, 22H2, and 23H2 are receiving an update that includes new features like a separate taskbar mode and improved File Explorer. I haven't found these to be true. I don't know if anybody else has found anything that's changed. I just haven't. The update introduces changes to the system tray, such as a bell icon for notifications. And let me come down here. I don't see any kind of a bell. So
I
don't know.
I have a bell on mine.
Yep.
Yeah, but you're both running the test versions, correct?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Okay, so I don't think they've released it yet, even though this article says they did. And then voice access has improved with new features, including the ability to correct words and dictate passwords and pins. So that's good.
The bell is all the way on the right. The lower right corner is the bell.
No, I've got no new. Yeah, that's
notifications. That's the notifications thing you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
It's down in the very lower right hand corner, right past the time and date.
Oh yeah, I guess it is a bell. It's small. I guess
When
it is
you
a
click
bell.
on it,
Okay.
it opens up the notifications.
Yep. And it is a bell. There's something written on it. It's really small and over the corner, and
yeah,
I
don't see
can't
anything written
really
on it.
see
It says black.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that part is working anyway. Thank you.
Yeah. When you
Over
it, you get the notes.
There's a Z on the bell for snooze. That letter that's on the bell is a Z. Z, as you call it.
I hear you talking, but you're muffled. So I'm sorry. I think it's Steve.
Okay.
Windows H23 H2 and Windows 22 H2. And then it talks about some of the new things that are in there. I think we talked about some of those the last time we were on. So there's some new things. Update and introduces Gallery in the File Explorer. Gallery makes it easier to access your photo collection. And so if you open up File Explorer, there should be a way to see the gallery as well.
Probably under view.
Mm. You may have to be in a folder that has pictures.
Did you click on, yeah, you probably have to be in a folder that has photos.
Yeah. Okay, I know there's some photos here. Let's see.
Huey, on the top where it has, I don't know what your default is. Mine is this PC, but to the left of that, there's the arrow. When you click on it, you'll have your choice. Gallery is one of those.
When you're saying on the left, all the way to the top.
On top, in the address bar. No,
I have noticed they have start backup. Whoops, I clicked on it. That's not a good thing. I hope it's not doing that. Okay, good. It also has some kind of a backup that I haven't played with. Anyway, I don't see it.
you opened a folder. Go back to open the,
Go back to this PC.
yeah.
Yeah, you missed it. It's there. Go below documents.
All right, right now you're up on the second line. It says home, and then you have an arrow next to it. Right? No, the other side of it.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay,
And that,
there we go.
there you go. And there you have
The
and
gallery.
should
Okay.
be one of them. Okay.
All right, super. Thank you. See, I learned something when I come to these meetings. Okay, so that's that article. There's lots of things to check out. And let's go to the next item. How to make Windows highlight your active window. And
For that previous one, you can also go to view and click on preview pane or something like that, and it'll come up with that gallery thing.
yeah, the preview pane then is over to the right. Last month, that's one of the things I did show. Okay, so let's go ahead and how to make Windows highlight your active window. Okay, let's see what they have to say here. I think this is, I don't know if that's all part of the article or not. There we go. We've been discussing a lot of Windows management tricks lately. This week's reader submitted tip is one of those little options that's easy to overlook. It's also easy to use. Just turn it on once and you're done. Somebody's at my door and I'm not going to answer. There's nothing to install and there's no keyboard shortcut or trick to remember. As a bonus, this feature will bring a splash of color to your Windows desktop, and you get to choose which color. Okay. Windows has a lot of great ways of managing piles of windows. This works on both Windows 10 and 11. Okay, just open up the Settings app.
Did we just lose Hewie? It sure looks like it. Now, I tried this setting and it puts a little color around the outside of the window that's open, but I found it to be so very, very subtle that you had to look real hard in order to notice that color change. Hewie,
He
you're
didn't-
mute.
He didn't go and test his shutdown button, did he?
Now I saw him, he's back.
No, but it did shut down on me, or didn't, it rebooted. All right, so we got personalization colors here, and then let's see, what's it, accent color? I didn't read the rest of the article here. Show accent color on the title bar. Okay. Accent color. Well, you don't have many choices. Well, let's do this one and see what it does. Show accent color on start and taskbar as well. Show it on the title bar. So I've got it turned on. No, I don't know if it's going to work or not. We'll see.
Well, it has a very faint blue color.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, so that's how you do it, and if you want to try it. And Harmon, you have your hand raised. Let me stop the share. You're muted. There you go.
Okay, there's something called the gadget packs. I sent you guys a notice on that. It has an icon in there that you put on your desktop and in a place where it won't be in the way. And if you need to emergency shut down or restart the computer, you click on that and it works like a charm.
Okay, thank you for doing that. It is in the chat. And Marilyn, you have your hand up.
Yes, I've always just done a shutdown when I've closed my computer for the night. Is that incorrect, or should I be doing a restart?
No, it's not incorrect, but it does store some things in memory so that when you start up, it's going to start up faster. If you do a restart once in a while, it's doing a cold restart or a cold start, and where everything shuts down and starts from scratch.
So how
So you
often
should-
should you do that?
When you think it's necessary. Yeah, I wouldn't put a time on it. I would just say every once in a while, if things are starting to look like they're not working right, that's the first thing I do is I do a restart.
Okay,
And
thank
then,
you.
And then sometimes things come back and they start working right. Armin, your hand's still up. Did you have something else?
No.
If you'd put your hand down.
Hewie, when you do an update to something and it's not working properly, that's usually an indication you ought to do a restart.
Yep,
Because it
absolutely. Yep.
didn't work.
Okay, let me go share my screen again. And we'll close this article out. 8 places Windows XP is hiding in Windows 11. So those of you who've been around Windows for a while, you might find this article interesting. Let me go and do the immersive reader. Okay, command prompt. Some of us like to use a command prompt for certain things. Sometimes there's certain things you have to use it for. Windows was originally built to run on top of DOS, and the early versions included a command prompt or other shortcut to access the underlying DOS system. Microsoft later
CMD.
built. I'm sorry?
You just type in CMD in the command prompt.
Yes, I know. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Windows was originally built, as I said, to run on DOS. And so the modern version of Windows for Server and Enterprise use that wasn't based on DOS, but it was Windows NT, and Windows XP ended up as the first generation use Windows release based on the upgraded system. Both XP and Windows 11 have a command prompt, mostly intended for running command line utilities or batch scripts. However, Windows XP also included NT Virtual DOS Machine, or NTVDM for short. That's not that short. This allowed a 16-bit and 32-bit DOS applications to run in the command prompt or from File Explorer. Microsoft never supported NTVDM on a 64-bit versions of Windows or Windows on other architectures like ARM. So if you want, I don't know if you can see my bottom down here on my taskbar, but in the search button, if I do, as someone just said, type in, come on, CMD, and then hit enter. Let's see if it's underneath here. Here it comes. It looks like the old DOS. And if I do a DIR, for those of you who remember back in the days of DOS where you had to go DIR, there it is. So for those of you sometimes don't want to look to see what's underneath or what's going on, or look at a file or see where a file is or something like that. And I shut off the encryption that Microsoft has to try to resolve some issues that I've been having. And there was a command line that I could put in, and I could tell how far it got. And then when it got down to 0% was encrypted, I knew it was done unencrypting my whole system. So there's different things that you can do, but the DIR is one, and you can change directory. And if you remember some of your DOS commands, they're available on the command line.
Huey, can you
Yes.
refresh my memory? What is the difference between the admin command line and an elevated command line? Is there any difference between the two? Are they the same?
I've not heard those terms, but let me go ahead, and when I do a CMD, and what I had to do is I had to right mouse click, and I ran as administrator.
Right, right.
Because if you don't,
I'm familiar with that, but sometimes it says an elevated. And even if I do
Yeah.
the admin, it doesn't give me the privileges of an elevated level. I don't know how to get to an elevated level. Involves security, and I get lost in that.
Your elevated is your administrative.
I think there's a slight difference, and I'm not sure what it is.
You're
I never heard of elevated.
You're either a user or you're the administrator. There isn't an in between.
Not in between. Elevated is a slight difference.
let's use what we have available. I'm going to close that. One of the things that I had to do is run the check when I was checking for the unencryption. I had to run it as an administrator. If I did it just straight, it would tell me that I don't have access to do that. But
Right.
let's go ahead. And check.
And sometimes
You're-
they won't let you use the command line. You have to go to PowerShell.
What's the difference between Run as administrator or what's the other?
Elevated privileges.
Oh, I spelled it right, but it'll figure it out if I didn't. And let's see what it has to say.
Huey, have you gotten the microphone to work in that?
I haven't tried.
pilot?
And I can't while we're Zooming because I'm using the microphone for Zoom.
I just put something in the chat box about it.
Okay, and it's just now coming up with the answer. Running administrator and having elevated privileges are two different ways of granting a program or user more access to the system resources. It keeps moving on me here.
Yeah, I can't read it. It's too small for me.
Yeah, I know, and I can't make it bigger, so without copying and pasting it, but you can type in that same. It's going to be too long for me to put in the chat box too.
Okay,
Wow.
that was a good idea to do it though.
But there's an example of how Copilot's going to help. Whenever you got a question like that, you go right to Copilot and ask it, and it'll give you lots of information to help you.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
if you,
I put something in the chat box.
Okay,
And if-
thank you.
and if you can't type, hit the microphone and talk.
Yeah, that's what somebody asked if I had it working, and
It works.
I haven't tried, so I'm sure you have, Bob, right?
I have not been able to make it work.
Okay, the control panel. This is cheating a bit. Let me move. I got something in the way here that you can't see, but I can. This is cheating a little bit because the control panel has changed significantly since Windows XP, and Microsoft is slowly phasing it out in favor of the settings app. However, control panel still is the only way to access some specific options in Windows. And some of the actual settings panels are very familiar to their XP counterparts. So you can go to the control panel, run dialogue, character map, I use quite often. And you can get to that in several ways, but but they've added also the emoji picker, and let's see when I click on this what it does. No, it tells you about the character map, but you can get to it from your
Windows key and period gives you
Yep.
the emoji.
all right. And there was a couple more on that, but I think I just closed that page out, so I apologize. Let's see. Continue with this one. How to turn your phone into a PC using laptop. I didn't read this. I just thought it would be something some of you who like to play with toys and so on, this might be something for you to get. It's an actual hardware. Let's go ahead and go into the immersive reader. If your phone supports desktop mode, all you need to do is connect it to a laptop via USB or Bluetooth. Alternatively, you can connect it to any external display, keyboard, and mouse. Not all Android devices offer desktop mode, so make sure you've got a compatible Samsung, Motorola, or Xiaomi smartphone. The laptop is essentially a laptop without a CPU or hard drive inside. But once connected to an Android smartphone that offers a desktop mode, a laptop can feasibly replace your PC. here's how you make that happen. And it tells you how to do it in the article. There's even a video on it. So last week on Tech for Senior, Drew did something using Samsung DeX. This is another alternative of using your phone, which is as powerful as a lot of our older computers ever were. And so you can use it as your server and hook up a keyboard and a mouse and a monitor to it, and you've got your computer. And there's no Pixel phones come with the stock Android experience, so they don't have that ability. And what extra hardware do you need? Once you've picked a phone with a desktop mode, you're going to need the right hardware. You need the laptop, you need a Bluetooth mouse, a phone holder, and how to connect your devices. And you can read that.
With Samsung DeX, all you need is a monitor and a keyboard.
Yeah. But you need a Samsung phone.
Yes.
Okay, another one is 7 window annoyances and how to fix them. How we doing time? Oh, we got plenty of time. Okay. Both Windows 10 and Windows 11 can be annoying, so let's do something about that. So annoyances number 1 is noisy widgets. I don't use widgets. And I think there was an article, maybe it was last month, and maybe it's on this month, I don't remember which, but why you should use widgets and how to do so. I just think extra things on my screen I don't need, and things to be using resources and memory. So I don't look at my desktop enough to worry about it. I'm usually in programs. So to me, widgets I don't use, but apparently some of them have voice or noises and so on, and you can turn that off. Annoyance number 2, Bing search in the start menu. When you search in the start menu, Windows searches Bing rather than just the applications and files on your PC. If you click one of those links, Windows always opens Bing in Edge, not your default web browser. And so there's some ways to stop it. You'll need to adjust the disable search box suggestions value in the registry. And I never advise people to go into the registry and make changes unless you have a thorough knowledge of the registry, which I don't. And so I don't go in and play with the registry ever. This works on both Windows 10, so that might not be something you would play with. Unnecessary startup apps. And this is something you really should do, is go into the task manager and then go to the startup group and look to see what you've got enabled as startup programs. There might be some that you don't need to start when you start Windows. You only need to start it when you're going to use that program. So disable them in the startup. You're not disabling the program. You're only disabling them to automatically start and put something in memory when you start Windows. And that's one of the things that makes Windows so slow sometimes to start, is you're loading all these programs or partial programs at the beginning that you don't need to. And especially if you're having problems, a good thing to do is disable a good many of them and then add them one at a time to see what problems it's causing. Annoyance 4 is the taskbar clutter. As you can see, if you can see my taskbar at the bottom, it is very cluttered and I don't like it, but gosh, it's handy for me to get to things. So there's some ways to either remove some things, or you can make them groups, but I can never remember what's in the group, so I don't like to do that, but you can. But you can change the settings. I have seen in one of the articles about the Windows coming in 2024 that there's some thought of putting the taskbar at the top of the page. Boy, will that confuse me. But I think you can do it now. You used to be able to do it on any 4 sides, But on the taskbar settings, let's take a look. And task view, taskbar behaviors. Show.
It's all the way on top, taskbar alignment.
Yep. And you got center. That's okay. And then to the left, that's the alignment on the bottom, but I'm not sure if there's a way to put it on the top like you used to be able to or not.
Nope. Not
Doesn't
now.
look like it. No.
There isn't.
It used to be all you had to do is drag it, and that sometimes caused people to have all kinds of issues because it would show up on their side or on the top and they couldn't find it. But
Yeah, and when 11 first was introduced, they didn't even have that option to move it from the center to the left. I'm very comfortable with it on the left, so I've already made that move. So they may come up and give us more options in the future.
They
yeah,
will.
but they are talking about maybe putting it at the top as well. Start menu junk. Again, talking about this is start items, and your start menu, of course, is what's on here. And you can add and change. They have improved the last couple of updates. They've made it so you can add more things and move them around and have them in different orders if you want to.
I also like the way you can create folders. You can drag one, like I have all of my Office apps together. I have all of my audio apps together. I have all of my WordPerfect apps together. So, and that way I find it easier to find them. And since I don't use my desktop for icons, I have a clear desktop and just enjoy the screens. Having my start menu set up properly really works nicely.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, I wish I could avoid putting things on my desktop, but I put them there and then I forget about them, and I can
Exactly.
every once in a while I'll clean it up.
Exactly. Now I will show my desktop icons occasionally and get rid of the ones that I don't need because they're just like games or an update kind of thing happen. But for the most part, I just leave them off and use my taskbar and the start menu.
Yeah, and what she's talking about is I have all of these. Now, if you right mouse click and you see view, it says show desktop icons, and that's checked. If I turn that off, they all go away.
Bye.
They're all still there. They're just hidden. And so if I want to bring them back,
View
View.
yeah,
at the top.
yeah, they moved it on me. There we go. And then click it again. They all come back right in the same place.
You've got so much, it takes a moment.
Yep. Well, and I got a lot going on here too.
Of course, but the kind of work you do, you need that kind of access.
Yeah, but a lot of these are, it just, when I installed things, it stuck I've got the Camtasia. I don't need it. I've got my Stream Deck and it's on my Stream Deck. And so I don't need it there, but I never use it on the desktop. So I can just right mouse click because it is a shortcut. It's got that little arrow on it. It's a shortcut. I can just say ditch it. And it's gone. The program's still there. It didn't affect anything. Those little arrows at the bottom mean they're just shortcuts. And so it's just pointing to another place where you have it, where you can run it. So I can go through and probably get rid of half of these just by doing that. Messy edge start page. I'm not sure what that refers to. Too many notifications. You can turn your notifications off. I get a lot on my phone. I don't get them on my computer, but sometimes I need to shut some of them off on my phone as well, and you can shut them off. Okay, so that's that article, and I can't see it because my camera is right on top of it. Now I can, but I'm going to at this. Oh, boy, they all have a different way of doing this, don't they? View whitelist, please consider. All right, we may not be able to see that one, but I wanted to stop the share, see if we got some comments. And Fred, you have your hand up.
Fred's muted.
Yep. He might have gone to sleep. It's probably been up there a
think
lot. Areas.
Yeah, we already discussed the elevated versus the admin privileges. Yeah, I
Okay.
appreciate it. Yeah. Also, a way back, you were talking about the preview in Windows 11. Someone mentioned that it's really crappy when it comes to viewing graphics. There's a utility, I guess it's a utility called WinArrow Tweaker that I can't find the specific tweak, but it does allow you to preview various graphic formats. Because when you were looking at the JPEGs, some of them weren't showing the actual picture, it was showing the file name. And in Windows 11, there is a preview that you can turn on, but still that doesn't do all the graphics programs. You can't see the image. So WinArrow Tweaker, I'll put it in the chat, the link to it.
I appreciate that, Fred. Yeah, we all have our little utilities that we've picked up over the years, and it's nice to be able to share them with others that oh, that will help me, you know, and so on. And that's how I've learned a lot of how to work around things that I didn't like and so on. As somebody else suggested a utility they use to resolve the issue. So that's the nice thing about user groups. Over the years that we've been able to exchange that kind of information. Stephanie, unmute yourself and go ahead and talk.
I get notifications, some of which are totally difficult to understand. One has been telling me for some time that I have old print things that didn't get printed. That it doesn't give me a way of saying yes or no as to whether or not they should delete them. They just say it's there. And how do you get it to give you more information?
That's a good question, because each one's going to be a little bit different. The best thing to do is note what it's saying and how it's saying it, and then use something like Copilot and say, what are they telling me? Or what does this mean? And a lot of times it'll give you the answer. And with the notifications, that sometimes you can go in and turn them on, turn them off for various programs. So you might have it turned on for something that you weren't aware that you had them turned on. Jolyn?
Yes. Do you ever see in your system tray the little printer icon, Stephanie?
Yes.
Okay. If you click on that, you can cancel those print jobs that are in the queue. You can also go into settings, Bluetooth and devices, printers, and click on your printer, and it will show you if there are any print jobs. And that way, because very often anything in the queue will block further printing of newer print jobs. So the printer icon in the taskbar will show up if there is something in the print queue. Generally speaking, that's what I found through the years. But you can also go into the printer settings themselves and clear that print queue. That might be what you're running into.
Thank you. It's kind of interesting because it says that they're a year old or something like that, and yet I'm able to print with the printers, but who knows? Maybe it was on an older printer or something.
Could have been, and just check all the printers and see if there's something. If you still have an installed printer that is no longer being used, I would uninstall it, and that might solve the problem. So there's options.
Thank you very much.
You can try C Cleaner as well. That'll clean out
Yeah.
the print spooler.
Thank
Okay,
you.
any other comments, questions?
Yep,
Okay, let's-
actually, I do have one quick one. Is I took
Sure,
that
Drew.
Samsung, I took that Samsung DeX one step further, and I installed a program called Termux. If anybody's heard of that, it's in the Google. It's not on Google. Well, it's an old version's on Google Play. It lets you run Linux on your cell phone or Android tablet. So I was actually had a 60-inch Linux desktop up on my TV the other night.
Okay, thanks, Drew, for that. And let's go back to sharing the screen. And let's see, do I have a choice here? Is that no.
Go back to
Let's-
Brave.
Yep, that's what I'm going to do. It's you got me just as I was doing the copying. And we'll go to Brave. I like the immersive reader in Edge, and that's why I was using it.
Huey, do you use Malwarebytes?
No,
Okay.
I have it on my system, and I'll run it every once in a while just to make sure I don't have any
Okay.
problems.
Because my ad blocker is Malwarebytes, and all I have to do is go and hit the use the Malwarebytes extension, and I just click on that, and I can keep all the other stuff blocked, but I can enable the ads just for that particular website, and I really like the way that works.
Okay, this is an article. Are Windows issues often self-inflicted? What I call, I don't say self-inflicted, I say picnic, Picnic. Problem in chair, not in computer. So what constitutes a messy system? Boy, I don't like their ads. Oh, their Temu ads. Continually installing and uninstalling software. Some users like to experiment with software, and I'm certainly not critical of that. However, let's see, I didn't do the, let's see, can I make this bigger or what? Turn on speed reader. I don't want that. Well, let's just make it bigger. Okay, lack of maintenance. We recently published an interesting article from John Durso, who poses the question, does junk slow down a Windows PC? John is of the opinion that accumulated junk files can have a major negative performance impact on a Windows computer. I agree 100% with John's conclusion. Whenever I've completed the task of cleaning up one of my client's systems, there has never been a case that has not resulted in a noticeable performance boost. I mentioned Windows native system file checker tool, and it's SFC and then /scan now previously, and can't emphasize enough the importance of running this tool on a regular basis. I do not know how system files become corrupted, but I do know that this can and does happen. And that reminds me, I'm going to highlight that and save it. And so I can do that because that might be one of the reasons I'm having trouble with some videos playing. Regularly running the system file checker tool will help keep on top of potential system file corruption and ensure they don't accumulate to the point where they're causing serious issues. So again, SFC /scan now command is an elevated command prompt admin. So you got to do it in admin mode every 2 weeks. Excuse me. Careless clicking. I've lost count of the number of times I've been cleaning up a client system and come across a rogue software installation. When I ask them where the software came from, the answer is invariably they have no idea. Fortunately, we've seen a decline in the practice of bundling PUPs or potentially unwanted programs within installation packages, but it's still quite common. So sometimes they just get installed when you're installing another program. I believe that most of our readers would already be aware of the damage careless clicking can do as far as introducing malware and adware into the system concerned. And the bottom line, consider about every time a Windows update is released, we can read reports about across the web from users who have experienced issues after installing the latest update. As wonderfully, but sadly, the late Professor Julius Sumner Miller would say, why is it so? I can only put down the fact that I make sure that all my systems are always in pristine condition. Good for him. I wish I could say the same. All right.
Huey, I would just issue a warning about SFC. What it does, it resets some of the DLLs. And years ago I had, and we all had probably, Outlook Express, greatest email that there ever was. Very simple, very plain. But in one of the updates of Windows, it reset the DLL and I could never get it back. So I would highly, highly recommend if you ever do an SFC scan now, that you first do a backup.
Good point.
So if you have to go back, you can go back because it does reset things. That's how it cleans the system up.
Good. Thank you for that. Okay, next article. Let me clear my throat for a moment here. The Copilot icon is moving to a new place in Windows 11. The latest Windows 11 Dev development mode channel build moves Windows Copilot to the right side of the system tray on the taskbar. You know where that little notification bell is? It's going to be on the right side of it.
I have the latest,
not sure.
and I don't see it. It's still on the left. It's not on the right.
Wait. Okay, that means you're not in the you're not in the dev channel. You're in the in a different channel.
I'm on a developer channel.
Are you really? Okay. Well, here's where it says it did it. So
I'm the same here. It's on the left-hand side. Also, on one of my systems, it keeps disappearing off the taskbar. And you reboot it, it comes back. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Has anyone experienced that?
I have not.
It's on my left side too.
On the left side, and I'm on the development channel.
Yeah, I'm sure that is on all of ours, but there's a few of you who are on the developer or the insider program, and it may not have come down to you yet. But it is. And I think I read somewhere that only some people, they're testing it with some people and not everybody. So what the advantage is, I don't know. That somebody is chewing gum on the right side of their mouth instead of on the left side of their mouth. I don't know. The dev channel build, as we just said, the highlight feature. Let's see if there's anything else here. There's some more things there. If you're doing some of the testing, you may see this Windows and Canary Channel build and some of the changes they're making. So this is a good article. If you're in the test mode or thinking about going into the test mode, you can read that article and see what some of the things that are changing and whether you want to be bothered with it or not. A quick look back at the launch of Microsoft Windows 101 a year, 38 years ago. So let's go ahead and make this bigger. Probably most of you never worked with Windows 101. You didn't get into Windows until it was version 3. But some of you may have. I know I was working for a company and we had one computer that had Windows, and it was version 1 point something. I don't think it was even 101. Might have been one after that. But I had to figure out how to use it because it was brand new. But 10 days ago, there was a quick look back at the official announcement of Windows 1.0 by Microsoft. The announcement was made in 1983, and it launched around April of '84. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. And instead, the PC would have to wait over 2 years before Microsoft actually put Windows 1.0 or 1.01 on sale. That happened 30 years ago, the date this was written, November 20th, 1985. Technologizer has a column written by Tandy Trower, who was a product manager for the first release of Windows. Previously, while at Microsoft, Trower was a product manager, and so on. So it gives a little bit on the history. And that was the boot up screen. And that was the introduction of a mouse to the system. We didn't have mice before Windows in the PC world. And so at the end of Windows 101 finally launched, as we have mentioned before, it was not a critical or sales success for Microsoft. And it wasn't until release of Windows 3.0 many years later that the operating system finally managed to defeat all of the other IBM PC-based GUI operating systems to become the huge product that it is today. I got to take a cough drop here. Hang on. Where'd it go?
You're also at 12:30.
Or 2:30. Yeah, we don't have really a program. So I'm going to go to about quarter of, then I'm going to play a video. Mike Ungerman was going to do something and he may not make it in time for the meeting. Well, that's that article. My camera is right where I got to turn that off. There we go.
Hewie, before you move on, I have a quick question.
Okay, let's go back to NA questions. Okay, hang on. There we go. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, just sort of related. I do have a Windows 11 computer, but I normally use my Windows 10 laptop. It seems to do everything I want. How long do you think it will be before maybe one of these newer versions, with Windows 12 coming out, will make my Windows 10 completely obsolete? Any hint on that?
Well, they say, was it June of 2025? Is when it's supposed
October of 25.
October 25. And you'll still be able to use it. You're just not going to be able to update it with security updates.
Right. Okay.
But any software you run, you can update, and you'll still be able to use it.
Yeah.
Now, there is some talk just this past week, and I don't know why one of the articles about it are not coming up, but they're talking about a subscription-based update to Windows 10 because there's over 1 billion copies of it still in use today. And the fact that you have to buy a new computer is going to keep a lot of big companies, unless they really need to update. And so they're going to pay the fee to keep using 25 Windows 10 in 25. And there's also some talk that they may even extend it past that because there are so many computers out there that are running 10. And this was in the article that I'm doing for tomorrow for Tech for Senior. One of the things I mentioned in there is the fact that that's why they may not call it Windows 12, because that means there's 3 versions of Windows out there that people are using. And so they may call it Windows 11 Extra, Windows 11 Exceptional, or they might call it Windows 2024, but they may call it Windows 11.5. They don't know what they're going to do, so all we can do is guess.
Well, and it sounds like maybe in Windows 12 will require another hardware update as well in order to make it work. It really is hard to keep up these days.
And that may be true, or it may just be, maybe some things won't be functional. Or there might be a part that you can put in or a card that you can put in that will give you that ability. We don't know because they haven't, a lot of the stuff they haven't invented yet.
I know the acceleration is just going so fast. even, it's hard at our level to predict what the future holds on that.
And
But,
AI is just going to accelerate everything even more.
Right. And if you realize that we all are talking AI, everything is talking AI. Everything in the world is changing because of AI. And AI is only a year, at least the modern version of it is only a year old. It was when ChatGPT was released, 3.5 was released last November, that all of this happened. AI has been around for many, many years, but not to the extent of what happened with ChatGPT and OpenAI, and everything is accelerating at an extremely fast rate. So we're seeing things change. Bob and I are two that are trying to keep up with it, and it's an everyday long time checking things out ordeal. Bob subscribes to some things that I do, and some that he does that I don't, and vice versa. But in every newsletter I get concerning AI, sometimes it'll take me a couple hours to get through one newsletter because I want to go out and try some of the things they mention. And that requires me to, first, they don't tell you anything, so you got to sign up for the program. And then I've got to give it a password. And so that password's got to be unique. And I do it in my password manager and then have to save it in there. So I got to have that handy, save the information, and then go in and take a look and to see what their pricing is. Do they have a free level or not? And then try to play with to see what it does. And then sometimes it's something, well, gee, I'm never going to be able to use this. There's not something I can use. So I've wasted now an hour or over an hour to discover I can't use it, or I won't be able to use it, or I never will use it. Or it costs money and I'm not going to spend money to find out whether I can use it.
Yeah.
It's
somewhat related. A number of banking and accounting systems too are leaving some of the old timers behind as they're updating their systems. A friend of mine is quite upset as accountant. So I don't know if any of you have run into that situation, and that may be a little more than what we want to deal with at our group here. But yeah, that is another.
You need to be willing to adapt. It's one of the things are changing quicker than most people can keep up with it.
Yeah, you're right, Norbert. Absolutely right.
And it's going to keep, and it's not going away, and it's going to keep doing that.
Right. Yep.
And one of the things that I've been reading about is some of these companies are getting vast amounts of money invested in them, and some of them start out it's one or two guys, and then all of a sudden they hit on an idea and they get some investors. They put in $100 million or so. Now they got a full-fledged company, and they're not ready for it. So they're making it up as they go along.
Yeah, neither are the copyright and the patent attorneys. they need to caught up as well. So yes.
Fred, you have your hand up.
Yeah, there's a petition floating around to keep Windows 10. I posted a link in the chat box for that. Not that it will do any good, and the name of change is not that there isn't going to be any change. It's just the rate of change. We know there's going to be a change. So if you want to sign the petition to keep Windows 10, fine. The other alternative is people have to learn what a VM is, virtual machine. So you can keep your Windows 10 going probably on hardware which will be emulated in Windows 11, Windows 12, and Windows whatever.
I still have a Windows 7 machine running in a VM.
Well, as you know, Drew, I have an XP running in Windows virtual machine.
Yep.
Okay. Any other comments? We'll go back. I'll do one more article, and I think we'll call it. And then I'm going to show a video that I think those who are seniors on here, and I think it's most of you, should have an interest in. So let's go ahead and share again. And this is how to remove and blur image backgrounds with AI on Windows. You can remove the background button, which is part of the Paint app, and you can blur the background function, which is part of the Photos app. So built right into Windows now. You don't have to buy programs to do this anymore. You can do it. The Paint program now has a background remover in it, and the Paint program is free. It's part of Windows. If you haven't played with it in quite a while, and you probably haven't, try it. Go in and use the Paint program. You'll find that it really has improved. And then their Photos app, you can actually blur the background so it makes the person or the item that's out in front that you want to focus on, it makes it really pop out at you. So this article will explain how to do that and what to do. You'll see a couple examples in here. This is when you remove the background, what they do is they make it all transparent, make it a PNG file, which handles transparency. JPEGs do not. And then you can put this over something else and then bring whatever color you're putting it on stand out. So having the backgrounds removed, or you can put a different background in there. And so this is showing you how to go in and edit and how to remove the background. So that's a good article. And okay, so I guess I didn't get to, it looks like about 4 or 5. I got through a lot of them though. So let me go ahead and stop the share.
Huey, just one
Yeah.
question. There's one without a link. The third from the bottom, key changes.
Yeah,
Microsoft.
I was trying to figure out, I have a list of some things. I'm trying to figure out how to do that.
Oh, okay. Okay, you'll
And
share it next time.
that was the reason. Yeah, I'll have to share it at a different time.
Terrific.
Randy Mims, you have your hand up.
Yeah, my question is off topic. It's with Zoom itself. The last few months, my Zoom has been giving me fits because I use headphones normally, and to avoid the disturbance it creates in the house. And my Zoom now is, when I start it up, it switches to the microphone on my headphones. But even though everything else, web pages or anything else, goes to the headphones, and Windows in the settings and says that the headphones are the default for the output, the speakers, Zoom insists on using the speakers on the computer and not my headphones. And I was wondering if anybody, I've looked all over Zoom trying to figure out if there's some way to convince it to solve this problem.
Yeah,
It's the only program of doing it.
I just ran into that today. The answer is you have to make that change using the facility in Zoom rather than going to Windows or trying to right-click on the speaker or something like that. That was the answer, and that worked for me. I had to switch to the headphones, and it wasn't doing it.
Well,
Randall, there's if you're using a PC and you've got the mute and the stop video at the bottom, next to the mute, there is an up arrow. If you click that, you can select a speaker or a microphone.
Oh, okay.
And
Thank
you can
you
do
very
it
much.
manually.
That helps.
Okay. Also, at the top on your screen, there's a little green shield with a check mark in it.
I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of that when I was switching. I'm on my headphones now.
Good. If you look at the top left of your screen, there's a little green shield with a check mark in it. If you click that, and I can't see the corner, there should be a gear over in the end.
There is on the right-hand upper corner. There
Yeah.
is a gear that takes you directly to settings.
Okay.
And that'll take you right into settings, and you go to audio, and you might be able to, you can test it and so on.
Okay. Thank you very much for your help.
Not a problem. Jim Glass, you have a question, comment? You're muted.
I just did the same problem, but I had to go into the Windows. system under Bluetooth and make sure the Bluetooth was turned on. And then the headphone, I was using phone conduction headphones, came on right away. So
Yeah, you have to have the Windows be able to recognize it. Once it recognizes it, then you have to make sure it's turned on in Zoom. If it's not turned on in Windows, it's not going to work in Zoom. Yes, absolutely.
My
Yeah,
question,
good point.
My question, Hewie, was I've been having trouble with How to Geek because it keeps coming up with this, you've got an ad blocker, and I can't find any ad blockers that I've installed.
Use a different browser. What browser are you using?
Chrome.
You sure you don't have one of the add-ons at all to your Chrome? And I think Chrome I think has some built in that you may have to turn off in the settings.
Okay, I'll take a look. I end
In my
up
case,
with both Bing and Chrome running, so very frustrating.
in my case, I get that sometimes when I have my VPN turned on. Do you have a VPN?
I do, but I haven't used it yet.
Well, I just Googled, and my generative AI experimental screen. Yes, Google has a built-in ad blocker. It aims to balance between ad blockers that hurt websites' revenue and abusive sites that bombard users. Let's see. Chrome menu settings, privacy and security, select site settings, select additional settings, and select intrusive ads. So you can fine-tune the way Chrome browser acts towards ads.
Okay, I'll take a look into that. Thank you, because I like How to Geek's articles.
Here, let me go. Let's see. Here we go. Let me get this. I just Googled, does Chrome browser have an ad block, a built-in ad blocker, and they came up, and I've just put the instructions in chat.
Thank you.
Yep. And Hewie got there with the Brave browser without having to do anything. That's a Chromium-based browser.
Yeah, they apparently handle it different. And that's what I do a lot of times. So I can't get into one. I'll try a different browser. Sometimes I don't have things turned on, or I have the same settings, and it will work.
Here's another thing that you can do is I have an extension that changes the name that your browser advertises itself to be. And oftentimes, like when Bing first started blocking other browsers from using the AI, this extension, which is in the App Store, allows you to say, temporarily, I'm really Microsoft Edge, or I'm really this or that. And you're not running it, but it tells the website that you are, and then it lets you in.
Okay, is that the Windows App Store or Play?
It's in the Chrome web store.
Chrome web store. Okay, I'll take a look.
For the browser plugin. I'll come up with the name for it for tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending. This has been the Central Florida Computer Society and Sarasota Technology User Group Windows Special Interest Group, or WinSIG, for Sunday, December 10th, 2023. I'm Hewie Poplock. Thanks for joining.